How can you do homework if you don't have to work? My kids have always been in the accelerated programs, and they always had books to study with. But then I began to realize that students in other classes, other programs, didn't all have books to take home. This is crazy. How can we expect them to study? How can we expect them to learn? The amount of time they spend in school is not enough for them to be able to learn the subject. You know, you need a math book to do your math problems. You need a math book to be able to read and understand the logic behind it. That's something that I'm very concerned about, and those of you that have been coming to school board meetings of recent know that I have been pushing for that. The Operations Service Committee meetings that have been taking place on a regular basis, the budget meetings, I am pushing for seeing to it that all children have books to take home to study with in all classes. Now, a figure of about $2 million was tossed about. There's no actual hard number as to how much it's going to cost for this to take place, but the figure of about $2 million was thrown out. It's a lot of money. But I don't think that's an accurate number because there are already sets of books in the school. It's not a matter of buying new books for each student, but just making up the gaps, buying new books for the students that don't have them. This is one of my biggest priorities for this year. And I know I'm going to be a thorn in the side of a lot of people, but I'm really pushing for this. The problem is the money. We have to find the money. Just as the infrastructure issues, we don't have the money, we have to find it. There are a lot of creative ways to find it, and we're just going to have to be very creative. As far as the decrease in the AYP, I realize a lot of that had to do with this, the fact that the Spanish-speaking students had to take the English test, but we can't, even though that's a reason, that's contributing reason, we can't just accept that and say, well, you know, that's the reason why. No, we have to bring all of our kids up to such a level that it doesn't matter which test they take, that they all excel and that they all meet the level that they should be at. Thank you.
Yes, the testing of the bilingual students this last year, because they changed the test that they were taking, we did have a decrease in the number of students who did pass. And I will tell you, in the coming year, when we reorganize our schools into neighborhood schools, that's going to change the makeup of every school. So we don't know where the schools will come out, whether they'll be making AYP or not, because they're going to have different students in their buildings than they've had in the past. So I'm warning you right now, there will be a change, and we may have some schools that make AYP that didn't make it before, and some that did make it will not make it in the future. With regard to having school books, I think it's important to have schools, but we recently voted to have new science books in the 7th and 8th grade. Just to cover the 7th and 8th grade is about $600,000 for the new series. And one thing about the new books that we're ordering, they are also online so that a parent or a child can get the information online if they don't have a book to take home. A lot of the schools now are going to computers with regard to their books, where you don't actually have a book, but everything is online, you can get it off the computer. With regard to the salaries for our administrative staff, I would say that if you look at the state pamphlet that comes out each year with regard to salaries, the salaries of our administrators are in the middle. We're not at the high end, we're not at the low end, but we're in the middle with regard to their compensation.
For our next topic, I'm not sure how it got added into the question that I just asked, but there are a number of questions that relate to administrative salaries. So I'm going to read a couple questions just to give you a feel of the concerns of this group of people in regard to administrative salaries, and then let you address it however you will. Some of you have already addressed it, but there are questions that need to be asked. So the comments and questions are, administrative spending is out of control. What steps will you take to ensure fiscal responsibility? In light of today's economy, would you be in favor of capping all administrative salaries and fringe benefits for at least a year? And the other comment on this question, the current administration has consistently increased the number of administrative positions and assistants for them. With the budgetary crisis on the horizon likely to hit in the next few years, please give your
first of all, I know that it's always a question on administrators, and Lord knows I enjoy it. But if you look at the Illinois State Report Card, the administrators really have not blown up. They haven't expanded. They aren't out of control. They're almost exactly smack dab in the middle. I mean, literally in the middle. And they've been there. Does that mean they can't be cut? Of course not. And as budgetary times come on, obviously teaching and teachers will be our primary responsibility to make sure we have adequate teachers for the students, adequate books for the students. No one builds an empire, no one wants an empire. But unfortunately, given the structure that we are under, which is incredible, we have to have a lot of administrators, God knows. Testing requirements, budgetary requirements. We have to account for every dollar from grants. The Fed wants reports, the state wants reports. We've got people just spending all day writing reports. We have an interesting situation with regards to teachers. We can't really hire and fire teachers like they do in normal industries. So we have to sort of cajole them and train them, and it's a tough management time. But as push comes to shove, yeah, administrators, they're the dollars that are going to be cut first because they're going to be easiest.
Okay, Mr. Russo.
We have a lot of challenges academically and socioeconomically. If we had a comprehensive strategic plan, and all strategic plan is a vision of what we want our school system to look like in the future and what we have to decide on today to make that a reality. If we have a comprehensive strategic plan where we can establish a vision, create change in our school system, and unleash the talent that we have great teachers. We have teachers that give out their cell phone number in case their kids need support in the evening or on the weekend. We have teachers that use their own hard-earned money to buy the books we were talking about earlier and buy supplies for their classes. We have principals and teachers who enlist their own circle of friends to provide free tutoring. If you have a comprehensive strategic plan, you identify and define what your priorities are, and that's the basis for your financial management. And the priorities should be academic progress, college placement, and graduation rates. I agree with Bill. I looked at the Illinois State Report Card, and our administrative costs are in the middle. But you know what? We're going to have to look at every single area, and we're going to have to identify and define what the priorities are, and allocate dollars. One of my friends today, his wife is a Seagull teacher. They laid off 100 Seagull teachers that didn't have tenure. My opinion, the front line of education in our community is our teachers. They're the tip of our educational spear. We need to invest in our teachers, program development, professional development. Obviously, we're going to need staff to support them. We have to support the administration and the staff because they drive the programs. The issue is those programs must be arrived at a consensus with the community's input, not just Lincoln Center's input. The community, the parents, the teachers, the taxpayers, all should have input into that strategic plan, because then our dollars will be prioritized and you'll know what it's spent on.